All right, guys, welcome back to Crunch Time, the show you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. As always, today we have a nice 11-game slate here. Got some success to go over. Got some good games to go through. Joined as always here with Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, as always. Sunny day here, so feeling good. I like the slate. It's looking like a good slate, so I'm definitely excited.
Yes, it is a nice day actually. Um, yeah, let's go over the success like we always do. First up, we have Snow here. What did he do? $50 into 100 main slate DK. Solid stuff there. Excuse me. Then we have myself here, Gutip. Did some tournaments over on DK and FanDuel. Ended up locking in Boucher. I think because, I was probably going to do a big amount of Boucher, but then Lowry was ruled out, so I ended up locking in Boucher. So I was happy about that. Any reason to play Boucher, I love it. So was live most of the slate, but then ended up dropping a bit, but still solid results. I think I can go over some of the settings I used there, open up the contest, just look at the lineups there. And we have you, Chris, over here, 1,200 to 2,200, just say 2,300, round it up. Over on FanDuel main slate, DraftKings, you have 1,000 into 1,300, so I guess it was a little tight there in some of the tournaments, I'm guessing, or double ups. We can get into those contests in a bit. I think you just sent those links. Got HBK here. What did he do? He did 200 into 350, so that's awesome stuff there. Got Nick here. What did he do? $4 to 15. This is Cars. Love to see it. Wait, was this one today, Chris? It was postponed, right? For today.
Yeah, I think so. It was, yeah.
Open up your contests here. Okay. Yeah, then we got Pricky in here. Awesome result here. Don't know how he did it. $16, $800, first place. Shipped it. I don't think solo, probably two-way tie. 1K to first, 750. Does that look like a two-way tie, Chris?
Yeah, probably. Maybe three.
Yeah, one, two or three. But I mean, that's awesome stuff there. Love to see that. Then we got Aiden here. What did he say? FanDuel Day, eating. What did he play? He played the main slate, after hours slate for NBA, NHL main slate, single game slate for NBA, DK, NHL single game slate, and then what is this one? College basketball. What was this one? Was this today?
No, that was yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. Yeah, I forgot. Didn't click these yet. Let me do that. Then the last one here, we got Dakota here. Trucks. What did he do? 9th place, 23rd place, $5, $10, 25, 50. So that's awesome. Love to see that. Did you end up playing any trucks, Chris?
No, I didn't play any trucks.
Okay. Let's go over yours first. Let me just scroll back up to them so you can see it. Which one do you want to do first? DraftKings?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's do DraftKings. Okay. There it is, Chris. What happened here?
Well, I mean, so it was pretty chalky yesterday, like 3-game slate. So the big differences that I had between other teams that were kind of trains were like Schroeder versus some people had Kuzma, some people had Harrell there. So that was a big difference. Kuzma was first, Schroeder second, Harrell third. So still was able to get there. I think this team at 240.25 had Kuzma, just a few more points for him. And then, yeah, I mean, everyone else was pretty chalky. Like, Trey, like I didn't have players do very well. I only had two people with the fire emoji, Schroeder and OG. Everyone else was honestly pretty bad. Like Baines here, 8 fantasy points, 60%. So wasn't great. Trey Young, 39. That game blew out, 56%. So he was actually my lowest owned guy. Trey Young, and that game blew out a little. So he wasn't able to get his full run. Still did all right. But yeah, it was very chalky yesterday.
Did Baines end up playing much? Because I think I was watching the fourth quarter of the game. I think there was more Boucher time.
Yeah, he probably played like 12, 15 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it was a good game though. Okay, let's open up your FanDuel. So FanDuel did a bit better. 1,223, rounding it up. Um, let's scroll down a bit so you can see. So fourth place, pretty high score, I guess, for the slate. What happened here?
Yeah, so I mean, this one was just super chalky. I mean, everyone here was mega chalk. There was a decision with Michael Carter Williams. He ended up getting hurt at halftime, so that really helped me a lot here. He was like 20% owned, so it was nice to have one of those go my way. But yeah, that was the main thing that kind of put this lineup over the top because everyone else here was chalky. So like 20% of teams that had Michael Carter Williams ended up behind me. So that helped a lot. Just because this team was a massive train, you could probably scroll up and see. I think it was probably like 30 ways, maybe even more than that. So yeah, still fourth to what 43rd. So like 40-way tie there.
Yeah, pretty much everyone except for this three-way tie for first.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people on this team. Like I said, the other pivot was a Michael Carter Williams team that we can look at. I think it ended up at like 275, something like that, maybe even 250 actually.
What is
But
that, like 6, 7 page? 8?
it'll be another small train. Yeah, right there, 252.6. This was the other team. It had Kuzma, didn't have OG, had Aaron Gordon, didn't have Mark Keefe, and then it had Michael Carter Williams, and it didn't have Schroeder. So yeah, this team was actually projected better once Terrence Ross was ruled out, but we weren't able to swap to this team because we already had OG locked in. But yeah, obviously, big game out of Markeef really helped here in this 3v3. And then Schroeder's big game obviously helped a lot as well.
Yep. Can quickly touch on DraftKings over here, just because we get some questions about tournament settings. So I think it was going pretty well. What did the first place team end up having? I think Bogey. What happened to Bogey, Chris? Because they didn't have Hunter, right? Did he not play
He had
much?
like
He was just bad.
he had like 11 in the first quarter. He had like 9 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound, and then didn't do much else after that. Game ended up blowing out, but he didn't do much after the first quarter.
Yeah. So you can see here there's quite a few at the top. Top score was, what was it? 300. Ended up 287 with my top one, but it was looking good for most of the night. I think a few guys could have done a bit better for me. I mean, the Stanley Johnson pick is kind of crazy. Obviously, Joaquin Boucher was the biggest one for me, 8% here, but maybe you could touch on the settings I used quickly. I think I left it open here. Yeah, here it is. So the settings I used yesterday, I guess the biggest thing was locking in Chris Boucher. I just like him, so locked him in there. No Lowry as well, so I thought it was a good play. Low ownership as well. I think we touched on it briefly on the show yesterday, so I really did like that play, especially on DraftKings, but I ended up doing it both FanDuel and DraftKings. But yeah, 2.7, we had projected ownership. I think ended up being 8, like we saw. Other settings, I used nothing special, just 2 uniques on the small slate, 20% randomness, and then I also played around with the ownership rules. So you could see here, I had one rule that said must have one player under 10%, and then 2 players under 15%. Just the way this works right now, I guess we should change this, but the way it works now, it just means it's a little weird because when you have 2 players with 15% ownership or less, it's actually going to count the one player with 10% ownership or less as one of the 15% players. So you'll actually end up with one player under 10% and then one player under 15% here. So that's how the build works here. So I did crank up the randomness and then the uniques as well, just because it was like, what was it, like a 3-game slate, super chalky. So I was building 150 lineups. So I just wanted like a bunch of different combinations, get as many different players in there as possible. I feel like that would works well if like the guy that you lock in does well. So I had Boucher. I think this is actually the build you can see here. This is what ended up happening. 45 players, Boucher 100%. Had Van Fleet, almost didn't get there. I think he was struggling up until the fourth or something. He was like at 30, had an icicle or something. Siakam as well, 90%. Trent, OG, Dennis, Kuzma. So a bunch of guys here that did quite well. And then you could see after that, like it's just a bunch of random guys here that I don't think I would have got if I didn't put like the uniques rule, the ownership rule, sorry, or if I didn't put like the randomness and the uniques settings up. But that is kind of what I wanted. I want a bunch of random guys on the small slate. So that's what happened there. Not sure what the best way to compare. If I could have shipped here, Chris, is like a load up a head to head here, or what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, you can load up the head-to-head since it's your account. It'll just it'll directly compare. So just click the 19th place team and then click view head-to-head. Yeah, so now that's the first place team right there, and then click hide shared players. So it's a pretty big difference here.
Yeah, you do this. I'm as good as you at this.
Well, I mean, it's a 6v6 here. There's not much to go over. Like, it's a completely different build that this guy had. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could look at the second place team. Maybe it's closer, but I mean, if it's a 6v6, there's not much to go over because it was completely different.
Yeah, it was still a fun slate. Feel like it could have definitely shipped. Like over here, Flynn. I don't think anyone else had Flynn at the top, 4.2. So if he did a bit better, could have gone my way. Same here. I feel like, I mean, Johnson already did well, but I feel like if one of these guys did a bit better, no one else had this team up top. So there were definitely, I think when I was looking at it, the points remaining, there was a bunch of minutes that I had, and then the guys around me did not have. So definitely could have gone my way a bit more, but it was still really good. But that's what I always say, though. When you're up top in the tournaments, anything can go. Someone gets like an extra minute or two, gets a block, gets an extra shot at the end of the game. Just things like that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun for sure. So that is that. Let's get into the slate, Chris, here. 11 games. What's your favorite news so far?
I don't know. I don't think I have favorite news. Like, we just have a big slate here, so there's a lot of different pieces from different games. There's not like one thing that really stands out. Jaylen Brown is out, so I guess that's pretty important. But it's not like we're locking in these guys. Marcus Smart is playing now. Kemba Walker's playing, so they are good plays. But yeah, it's pretty balanced in my opinion here today. I don't think there's one spot that stands out above the rest.
Yep. Let's see what we got in the chat. I got World King in here. I got Dinda says number 7, Mickey Mantle is in class. You know Mickey Mantle, Chris?
Does he play for Baylor?
I think baseball player, Chris. Old.
Mickey Mantle. No, definitely doesn't play for Baylor. I'm thinking of Matthew Meyer. Yeah, I didn't know who Mickey Mantle was. No.
You don't know this guy?
No.
He's got the Commerce Comet is his nickname. The Mick, another nickname. Let's see if we can find any nuggets here. One of the greatest offensive threats of any center fielder in baseball history, Chris.
Why don't you show it on the screen? You're reading it off the screen. It doesn't really make sense.
There we go. Number 7.
Yeah. Born in 1931, so yeah, definitely past my time.
But you should know this. Look at this, Chris. Second highest career OPS among center fielders behind Mike Trout. Look at that.
That's real good.
Yeah. He's a legend. You should know this, Chris. Baseball legend.
I'm not a big baseball guy.
Let's see if there's anything here. What does he have? Baseball stuff. Player profile. Personal life. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. Maybe for another time. Lots of reading here. We got some homework to do now. But yeah, let's get into this slate here. Let's see what we have. Rondo says, Fred taking your money on his site and almost in DFS. That's true. Oh my god. Still no response from Fred, so I'll let you guys know if I ever hear back from him. Weaver says, was that a single entry or MME? If so, when you late swap, do you keep your ownership projections intact? Yeah, no, that was definitely MME, the contest we went over. So I had 150 lineups generated. Did go over the settings, actually. So if you missed that, maybe you can scroll back in the video. But I went over the exact settings I have, and then you can see all the players I ended up having. So you can go back there to look at that. And then, yeah, I did do some late swaps, actually. So I left the same settings intact. It does work. Like the settings are, like it respects the settings. It's not going to remove them. And then, yeah, so I just left it as is for the whole slate. Were you going to say something, Chris?
No, I was just going to ask you about that part of his question.
Yeah, I just left the settings intact. Same as the other day when I did well in tournaments 2 days ago or something. Left the same settings intact all night throughout late swap. So it's pretty cool. It does work now, so I love that. Are you MMEing tonight? Yes, I am. Just still doing the lower stakes ones though. Need to grow my bankroll a bit in the American leagues. Still haven't got my paycheck from the EuroLeague, so waiting for that as well. Weaver says, at what point in the night do you remove the ownership projections? I don't. I keep them intact because if I have an ownership rule and a game already started, like if I already have, well, I already closed it, but if I have if I already have a player who is under 10% and I have that 10% rule, like if I have this rule set up and that player's game already locked, when the optimizer goes through and does the late swap for that lineup, it'll see that there's already one guy who's under 10%, so there's no need to remove that rule. So there's that. If there's like a better play that's under 10% for that lineup and the original guy, his game didn't start, then it would switch it. But if there's already a guy who's locked in with 10% or less, projected ownership, obviously it's not going to look at the actual ownerships. That could be cool actually to look at the actual ownerships, but right now it just says projected ownerships. So it'll keep that guy if he's there already. Same as all the other rules. It's not gonna like add another rule with whatever's left open. So there's that. Austin says that's his method. I reduce the ownership fade as the games reduce. Wait, so you remove ownerships as the games start, or do you know what he means, Chris?
I mean, so it's a tricky situation. Like it depends on strategy. For me, at least when I play GPPs, it just depends on the slate. Like if we get breaking news that you think you have an edge over by late swapping, like if we get crazy news like later in the night, I'm not sure what games are late today. Let me see. So Clippers play at night. So if we get news that like Kawhi is out today and we want to play a bunch of Paul George, in that case, I would remove all my settings and just run the late swap with just the optimal settings, just because not all the field is going to late swap. You're going to have a huge edge over the field just by late swapping, just by making that one change with updated projections. So it really depends on the slate. Like if it's a slate where there isn't much news, then you can keep your settings intact and go with that. But if there's a slate where there's late breaking news, that's when I would get rid of my settings.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday, most of the guys who I had, once the slate starts, usually, I don't know, sometimes the guys who lock in already like the crazy plays. So, but yeah, I did leave it the last few days. I didn't touch it. I didn't change it or anything. But I think Chris is right. It is slate dependent and dependent on the strategy. Also, how big the news that comes out is. So it really depends. But yeah, I didn't touch it yesterday. I just left the same settings intact. I think there might be some confusion actually. Like sometimes when you're late swapping and you see like a red line on a lineup, the only thing that means is that like one of the rules that you had in place couldn't work. Like it just there was no viable way to keep that rule in place. Like a little,
We should
I
probably,
guess I can explain it a bit better maybe over Discord, but it still means like everything works fine. It just means that if it's red, it just defaults to the highest projected fantasy point lineup.
we should we should probably change it from red because red looks like it doesn't work. And do you know if it would be possible if to like show what the rule was that didn't work?
Yeah, we can add that for sure.
Yeah, that would be much better because, I mean, when people see red, they panic.
Well,
Red
because
makes it look like it
you're
doesn't work.
conditioned. Let me just write this down. Remove red. Otherwise, I forget all this stuff. And then what was the other
Yeah,
one?
'cause-
Show what's not working.
yeah. I think if the lineup was like starred or something, if there was a star next to it or some kind of indicator, it would be more like more user friendly. Because I mean, like you said, people are conditioned when they see red, they think something's broken.
Yeah, I mean you're conditioned your whole life. Red is stop, green is go. So maybe we
And
can.
we don't want green either. So some indicator I think would be good.
Yeah, Mike Weaver wants green. I don't know if green would be the color, but just something. I mean, red is kind of extreme. Red is kind of like, whoa, like what did I do? Like what's going on? But yeah, no, we should. I think the idea was like I wanted people to see like if something didn't work, but right now it doesn't actually tell you what didn't work. So there's that as well. But I mean, yeah, that's in the works. I'll check what priority that is now. There's just a lot of stuff that we're doing, but I do want to. I always wanted to fix that up and add that in to make it a bit better. Yeah, let's see. And then the other thing I wanted to say, the players per team feature, I sent it in the Discord. Where is it? I don't know how far back. This one here. So this one, it is ready actually, but we didn't push it to the live website. So I think I want to push that today because I know a lot of people want this feature. So it is ready. We tested it out. I think it works. Did you try it out, Chris, yet yourself?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for Chris to test it out himself, give it the green light. Green means go, Chris. So we're waiting for your green light for this one, and then we can push it out for everyone to use. So I just want to test it out a bit more, get your approval before we push it. But it is ready, so I want to make that clear, make that known, because it's a highly requested feature. But yeah, where were we, Chris? We're getting into the slate, weren't we? First game up. So what?
Let me test it out real quick. I think it's working, so we can do that tonight.
Yeah. I don't know
Do
if
you
we should do
want
it.
to show it off?
Hmm?
Do you want to show it off?
Does it work for you, Chris?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. What rules do we have right now? No rules. FanDuel, NBA. Let's crank it up. Let's go crazy. 5 uniques. Let's go really crazy here. 35% randomness. Not make it too ugly actually, but okay. So what do you want to do here?
Yeah, so let's just make a random team. Let's make a team that isn't going to pop much. Let's take San Antonio. Let's get a minimum of 4 of them. Oh, one thing we have to change is we have to make it so the number only goes to 4 on FanDuel.
Okay. Yes, we can do that. Anything else?
Do you want to write that
Remove a
down?
popular team, Chris?
No, let's just see that because, like I said, there's no team that like pops a ton today.
Yeah, there's so many games.
Do you want to write that down on your notepad?
Yeah, I should actually. So
Yeah, so see it works here. So I mean, we got the 4 Spurs in every lineup. I mean, this is just like stacking, I guess, but obviously you wouldn't use it in this way. I don't think. You could use it to late swap stuff like that, or if you like a team, you could use it in this way. Or if you don't like a team, I know Weaver hates when you get like 4 guys from the same team, so you could limit that to 2. So that would be, I think it's a tool Weaver would like a lot.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely popular one for guys who like optimizers. I think it's one of those like standard ones that you have to have. So I don't know why we didn't have it for so long. There's just a lot of stuff to do here. So we're not even close to finishing here. We've got a lot of stuff that we want to add, implement here, and kind of innovate, I guess, compared to other tools. So there's just a lot of stuff to work on. I don't know when we'll be like done, but it's definitely like a few years of work and improvement to do here. So there's a lot of stuff. Wanted to ask though, Chris, do you know, like we'll have to switch this for some other slates too. Like I think like all the different slate types will have different restrictions, right? Like you can't have 4 guys. Like we have to adjust the slot. I don't know if we have that properly set up. You know what I mean?
So it kind of goes with what I was saying with the FanDuel thing. I think we already know it, all the settings though, because we've done it for other settings.
Yeah, so we just got to switch that for all of the slate types, right? For FanDuel and DraftKings. Double check that.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't actually look at what we ended up getting with these lineups. How crazy are these, Chris?
Well, I mean, no, I hate the Spurs, so that's why I said to add them in.
Yeah, it looks kind of ugly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. First game here, Chris. We got the Indiana Pacers, Washington Wizards. Indiana side, we have Doug McDermott, questionable tag, projected starters. Cover boy today, Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. Why is Brogdon the cover boy today, Chris? What's going on?
Well, I just like the matchup. Like I said, there wasn't anyone that kind of stands out to me, just in general. So that's why I just picked Brogdon. I think he's a pretty safe option. I like him a lot in tournaments today. Don't mind him in cash games either, so that's why.
Oh, this has to be one of the cheaper price tags we've seen him all year, actually, as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty bad recently, so he's been around this price range for a while now. But yeah, actually, so he was 6'5" last game. Had a stretch where he was around 6'6", 6'7" a few weeks ago. So definitely down from like 8K, 8.5K that he was at earlier in the year. But yeah, are we going over them right now?
Yeah, the Pacers.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I like Brogdon a lot on FanDuel specifically. I think he's a better play there. He's 6'5", 7K on DraftKings. So I mean, I think he's a really good tournament option here. Cash games, I'm not sure yet. Like, if I land on him, it's a situation where I don't care. Like, I'm fine with it. But if I don't land on him, same thing. Like, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to go out of my way to jam him in. But I do like him a lot in tournaments. Like, if he gets the minutes here in this matchup, we always love this matchup. Super fast team in the Wizards. So if he gets the minutes here, he could absolutely crush. I think he's been in some blowouts recently, so that's why his minutes have kind of been down. Only played 28 last game. That was a blowout against the Mavs. But yeah, that's that with Brogdon. Sabonis, I also like him a lot. He's 8.8K on FanDuel. DraftKings, I think he's a little bit more expensive. He's 9.6, so that's a stay away spot for me. But I think on FanDuel, he's pretty interesting. Same sort of thing as Brogdon. If I land there, I'm happy with it. If I don't land there, I'm fine with it. So it's kind of it's a fluid situation. Like, he's in a really good spot here. Love him in tournaments as well. So I think this is actually like a team where that setting, the stacking setting, would actually be helpful. So like you could stack the Pacers here, maybe play 3 of them at the minimum.
You don't need to rub it in. It's not ready yet, Chris.
Oh no, you can do it with the stacking setting.
Oh, which one? This one?
Yes. Yeah, so if you just do 3 Pacers, it's the same thing. So yeah, I think this could be interesting here on this slate. Most people, if they're playing Pacers, they'll only play 2, maybe 3. So maybe you can even set it at 4 just to be one ahead of the field. But this game really needs to blow out for that to pay, like blow out scoring wise, like high scoring for that strategy to pay off. So I mean, it's something that's there if you want it. And then last guy I'll mention here, Justin Holiday. He is 4.4K on DraftKings, 3.8 on FanDuel. So that FanDuel price is a lock for me on this slate, where we don't have great value. So that's why I like it a lot over there. DraftKings, it's more of a last piece. same sort of thing as other guys. Like if I land there, I'm fine with it. If I don't land there, I'm also fine with it.
Yeah, what do you think of this rule, Chris? These lineups here. So I just wanted to show it because it is the same thing here. I guess the only thing you can't limit in that rule, right?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you just can't go the other way.
Wait, is that the only difference?
Yeah.
So doesn't this one give you more control if you want like minimums then?
Yeah, it does because you can choose the positions and stuff.
Do you think they should be like blended in together, kind of? Those two?
No,
No.
no, it's different. Like this one's more if you want to stack like positions. It's better for that. Like it's not an NBA setting. The other one's more of an NBA setting because you don't stack positions. But I mean, it's definitely fine to have both.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. You can see here, so you get 4 pacers. I'll just show it here because we always have questions about these settings. So let's just put 4. Say you don't want to play like, I don't know, like if you only want 1 power forward for them, you should be able to do that here. I think if you do this 0 to 1, so you'll only have at most 1 power forward. Maybe you only want 1 point guard, so you don't want both Brogdon and McConnell. Let's see if that works. That should be it, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Let's just take a quick look at that. And let me remove that so I don't forget that for later.
Yeah, so now you're not getting any teams with both Brogdon and McConnell. But I mean, like I said, in NBA, it doesn't matter. Like they share the court together. If I didn't want to play them, I wouldn't do it there. I would create a player group and then limit those 2 guys. But I mean, I'm fine playing those 2 guys together.
Yeah, just kind of showing it all the different ways you can go about doing things. Okay, let me just go back to our slate here. So next up we have Washington Wizards. Over there we have Brad Beal, questionable. Davis Bertans, he is out. Projected starters: Westbrook, Beal, Denny Avdija, Rui Hachimura, and Alex Len. Anybody that you like here, Chris?
Yeah, so I mean, Westbrook is always viable. He's always in play. I'm just not really landing there today. Like he's been crushing for a long time now, so consistently getting you 60. So I mean, he's a monster, but I'm just not landing there myself today. But he's in a really good spot if you want that. Cash games, I don't mind it. Tournaments as well. The guy I'm more interested in today is Bradley Beal on FanDuel specifically, where he's 8.8K. Shooting guard is a little thin here on this slate. Like I said, we don't have a lot of value, but he has the questionable tag with the hip injury, so I don't really want to play him. I'm going to probably do whatever I can to avoid playing him. So that's how I'm going to treat that. But that price tag is really nice. Like if he plays his full minutes, he should absolutely crush this price tag. So I like him. I think he's going to be pretty popular today in cash games if he ends up playing. But I'm kind of skeptical. Like the hip injury didn't look too good. I don't know. It's a tricky situation that I kind of want to stay away from because I had him last time when he got hurt. I mean, maybe that's my fault for wanting to stay away from him in this spot, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah, Lane says Beal's out. Westbrook is a lock. Would you say so even at the price tag, Chris? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I was also going to say Karis LeVert here. What is he, 7K? Not the most appealing price tag here. It's a huge slate as well, so there's probably better plays. But it seems like a guy who, if he gets hot, he'll have the ball a lot of the game. Like he can just keep shooting, have the offense kind of go through him. So he seems like a guy who could have like crazy upside games if he goes off. It is the Wizards. Is that something that you could see happening?
Not really. I don't think it's the same situation that he was in Brooklyn. Because I mean, when he had his big games, a lot of their best players were out. Like he's playing alongside Brogdon and Sabonis now, who demand the ball a lot. So I mean, I don't know. Like he could get you 45, something like that, maybe 50, but I don't see anything past that. And for this price tag, him getting 50 isn't something that will definitely win a slate for you.
Really? 50 is pretty good. It's 6.5 value at 7.6. That's pretty good, no?
I mean, you're not gonna. like if he gets you 50, it's not like you're. I mean, you're going to be ahead of the field, but you're not going to be way ahead of the field because it's only 6.5x. Like, and that's asking for a lot. I don't think he can go for 50 here.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, let's load up the next one. We got the Timberwolves here versus your Nets guys. This is that dude's favorite team, Minnesota. His team here. Always struggling though. Minnesota got Josh Kogi out, D'Lo out, and then projected starters Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley back in from his suspension. Ant-Man, Catman, and what's Jaden McDaniels for the Timberwolves projected to start. Anybody that you like here, Chris?
I mean, this game is the highest over/under game of the entire slate. It's surprising to see that not many of these guys are really popping projections wise. I mean, Malik Beasley is back now, so that kind of limits guys like Anthony Edwards, Ricky Rubio, a bunch of their random guys on the wing. But I do like Malik Beasley's price tag, FanDuel 5.6K. I think that's a pretty interesting price tag there. DraftKings, he's 6'7", so don't want to go there. But I do like Malik Beasley there for 5.6 on FanDuel. And then Cat, I think he's like no one's going to play him here on this slate. We have the Robert Williams and Moses Brown duo who are kind of in that 6.5K range on both sites, who are going to be super popular. So I don't think many people are going to spend up at center here in this slate. So I do like Cat a lot. We love the matchup here. As always, we have him for this super low projected ownership. So he's very sneaky here. I like him a lot in tournaments.
I like him a lot in tournaments too. I like that. That's a good play. Let's go over other half here. Brooklyn side. KD out for them. Shamet out. LMA. New piece there. He's still out though. And then Kai Irving is in for them. Projected starters got James Harden, Irving, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, and DeAndre Jordan. Anybody on the Nets side that you like, Chris?
Yeah, so they're implied to score 125 here. Like I said, this is the highest over-under on the entire slate, so that means that Brooklyn here has the highest implied team total on the slate by a pretty large margin. As you can see here, we have Brooklyn for 126. Next highest is Indiana at 118. So, I mean, that just means I have interest in some of these guys. I love Harden today on both sites. He's 11-3 on FanDuel, 10-9 on DK. He's my favorite spend up on this slate just because of the great game environment here. We know that Kyrie is back, but I mean, still, Harden has had these huge games with Kyrie playing, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. Not going to shoot as much, but going to facilitate more, stuff like that. So Harden is my guy today. Kyrie, don't love him here. Price is pretty high, so I don't know, maybe in tournaments, but for the most part, it's going to be Harden.
Okay. Let me load up the next game. Miami Heat here against the New York Knicks. Oops. Did you know, Chris, that we actually our projection system? We actually have the winning percentage for every team.
Wait, what about the winning percentage?
Like, it's not on the tool. It's not displayed here, but we have like the winning, like our projection system. We could see like the winning percentage of every team in every game today.
Yeah, I mean we show it for NHL, but for NBA where spread is more relevant for us in DFS, that's why we show that here.
Yeah.
But in NHL where spread doesn't really make too much of a difference, you calculate with money line and over under for the team's implied team total. So that's where it makes more sense to show it. But in NBA we don't need that.
Yeah, it's just interesting though. Like you can see, like we have Brooklyn here, 82% favorite, predicted to win. Washington's 26%. So it's kind of cool to see actually. But yeah, I wonder like in the tighter games what the win percentage is for some of the teams if we have like a favorite on our end. It's kind of cool actually. But yeah, Miami Heat, New York Knicks over here. Let's go over Miami first. You got Haslam out. Is he ever going to play, Chris?
Haslam?
Yeah.
Like play as in be back on the bench?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean he has he has the Rona, so he's going to be out for a bit. But yeah, once he's back, he's going to be on the bench again.
Nice. Is he ever going to see some floor time?
Oh no.
Okay. So he's out. You got KZ Okpala out as well. Gabe Vincent probable. Nemanja Bjelica, new piece there. He is in. Kendrick Nunn out. Goran Dragic is probable. And then their massive new piece, Oladipo, he is out. Projected starters, we have Jimmy Gets Buckets, Butler, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Trevor Ariza, and Bam Adebayo. Anybody on the Heat side that you like, Chris?
Not really. It's not a great spot here, in my opinion. It's the lowest over/under on the slate by far. But I mean, we always have some interest in Jimmy Butler. I think he's pretty interesting. He's going to be my favorite Heat guy, probably the only guy I'll talk about here. 9-3 on FanDuel, 9K on DK. Hasn't been playing great, but I mean, we've seen the upside he has. He had a stretch where he was going for 60 every night. So he definitely has that upside. That's why I'm interested in him at this reduced price, but I'm probably not going to do it in cash games. I think it's more of a tournament option if you're playing a bunch of teams.
Yeah, and even then, though, I think Cat, well, I mean, you only got one center on FanDuel, so that's probably why, but Cat is much less projected ownership. Before we do the other half here, Chris, got a question from New Edition. Says, I'm new here. Are you guys going to show the lineup to use for FanDuel?
I mean, we'll go over my favorite lineups afterwards, after we go over the entire slate. That's the format we do. We go over the games, then we go over my locks, then we go over my favorite lineups using those locks, and then we end the show. So stick around until the end, and we'll definitely get to that point.
Yeah, usually it's around the. Usually we go over like the lineups generated with the optimizer. Talk over like what's going on there, why things are happening. Usually that happens around like the 1 hour mark, 1 hour 15 mark of our live stream. So around then. Yeah. So Nick's side, we got Randall, questionable tag, Reggie Bullock, questionable tag. Projected starters, Elf Payton, RJ Barrett, Reggie Bullock, Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel. The Randall questionable tag, Chris. He's got, see the right thigh there. Bullock has the right ankle. Is this some slate breaking news that we have to keep an eye out for with Randall?
I mean, not really. Like, we have a giant slate here, so not really. He missed the last game, so RJ Barrett was in play a lot. His usage rate went up by like 5% in that game compared to his average, but his price is up. I think he'll be more of a DK play at 7-2 if Randall is out. If Randall's in, I'm not going to touch any of these guys. We saw Mitchell Robinson break his foot, so Nerlens Noel is going to re-enter the starting lineup now. But like I was kind of talking about earlier, we have this Robert Williams and Moses Brown range in the center at 6.5K that we're going to stay in. So, yeah, not too interested in the Knicks here.
Gotcha. David Cree is asking about Taj Gibson.
I mean, yeah, I guess if Randall's out, that's the only way I can play him. So no Mitchell Robinson and then no Randall. So that would be interesting. He got the start last game, played 34 minutes, got 32 fantasy points. So, I mean, if you want to take a really, really deep shot, deep flyer on a play like Taj Gibson, it's not something that I mind. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not my favorite play at the same time.
He's the last 3 games though. He's been getting a few decent minutes, like around 30s, high 30s last game as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Thibodeau loves that guy, so he is going to get his minutes.
Tibbs.
Just like he had 4 blocks last game, so I mean, do you think that 4 blocks is sustainable for Taj Gibson, even if he plays 30 minutes? Probably not. So, I mean, it really depends. Like, it's not something that I would do as of now, but if we get Randall out, it's something that I would consider, especially in tournaments.
Got it. Let's see. New Edition says, new here, says, can I ask questions as well? Players and locks. Chris, can you ask questions?
Yeah, ask away. You can ask about anything, anything about the slate, anything about your life. I can answer it for you.
Like, get your life questions answered by Chris.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, personal questions, sports questions, it's all good here. So if you have any questions, more than happy to answer them throughout the show. So we do usually stop and answer all the questions that we get. Rondo says, what's going on with Horford? Are they going to buy him out? I feel like they just want like a young core, but yeah, what's going on there, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the buyout works, like, because he still has a few more years left on his contract, but I think they're trying to work something out. I don't think they're allowed to buy him out right now, or at least maybe if they do, it's just way too expensive. They'll probably get taxed a lot. But I mean, I have no idea. I'm not an expert on that, but I think I saw a report that they'll work something out in the offseason, try to move him to some other team. So that kind of makes me think that a buyout is not an option here because his contract still has a few more years.
I would hate it so much if he ended up on the Raptors somehow. Like I would hate that so much. I don't know if that's viable. I don't think we're interested at all. But if for whatever reason he ends up on I would just hate that so much.
I would like him on the Raptors. He was playing very well this season. The Raptors need a big, so I would actually like Al Horford on the Raptors.
Yeah, but we don't need old guys. Like I'd rather like struggle and like have like a young core develop than like have an old Horford balling out and then like I'd rather see Boucher ball out than Horford. And Boucher's not a young guy either, but I don't know. I'd rather focus on the future.
He's not that old. He's only 34, I think. I mean, they have Van Vliet, they have Siakam, who are pretty old. So, I mean, if they want to contend, I think Horford would definitely help that.
You think Horford would be the missing piece to contend?
Yeah, I mean, they need a center really badly.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's see. Dinda says it's in the optimizer. It's like remember the EA Sports in the game? DFS Crunch. It's in the optimizer. You know that one?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Leighton says Teague is gonna sign with the Bucks. They're gonna win it all now. I feel like that's you say like that's like you saying Horford to the Raptors. Now they're contenders.
No, I mean, my definition of contender isn't like they're gonna be a top team, like a top 2 team. Like I think they're gonna be in the mix, like to make it into the Eastern Conference Finals. Like they'll be a top 4 team in the East.
Okay, fair. Lynn says Chris Winfrey at your service. Horford better than Horford is definitely better than Baines. I don't really like the Baines play there, but yeah, Horford would be better than Baines, but yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Lynn says Van Fleet, Siakam are not old, mid-20s. Aren't they like late 20s?
I think Siakam's like 25, 26. Let's see.
They're like 27.
Siakam's 26. I think Lowry's probably 26, 27.
Lowry is not 26, Chris.
Sorry, Van Vliet I meant. Van Vliet. I know Lowry's like 34. Van Vliet is 27, so I mean, they're pretty old. They're in their prime, so I mean, someone like Horford, I think, who's 34 at the end of his prime, he could fit for like 2 more years. He was playing very well for the Thunder this season.
Yeah, I guess I could see it.
Looks like Bradley Beal is out.
He is out. Definitely is out. Yeah, I just wanted to say actually to new edition, if you're here, you can try out our optimizer yourself. There's a free trial. If you just go to our site, dfscrunch.com, also in the description, you can just sign up. You won't be charged until after 3 days, so you can cancel anytime before then. So if you'd want to follow along with the show, if you have questions, good time to ask questions about like how to use it and stuff is during the show. But we do also have like a Discord, so you can go in there as well. But yeah, 3-day free trial, so you can try it out there. Absolutely free. You get access to everything during that trial, so that's a good way to try it out as well. Let's see. C. Davis saying how to back test. Should we do that afterwards, Chris?
Yeah, we can do that after.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the show, Clement, and then we'll just show you because I have to load up the other day's slate. So we'll just do that at the very end. Okay, yeah, let's do the other game here, Chris. So we have Pelicans against the Celtics here. Pelicans side, Lonzo Ball, questionable. Jackson Hayes, probable. Projected starters, Ball, Bledsoe, Ingram, Zion, and Adams. Anybody that you like on this side, Chris, in this game?
I mean, I always have some interest in Zion and Ingram. They're like the two main guys that I like here on this team. So, I mean, I have some interest in those two. Nikhil Alexander-Walker will be in play if Lonzo ends up being ruled out, currently questionable. Um, but, I mean, for the most part, on this slate, I'm not too interested in these guys. My favorite one is going to be Zion Williamson, as always. He's just been playing out of his mind recently. Had a 44% usage rate last game, so, I mean, that's insane. I would probably bump his projection up a little more here. Like, I think probably something like 47 isn't out of the realm of possibilities. So, yeah, I like Zion a lot here. Not too high on Ingram. Hasn't been playing too well recently. Seems like he doesn't have the same floor as Zion, and he's usually priced around the same price range. So, if I'm playing someone here, it's going to be Zion.
Yep. Boston side, what do we have there? We have Semi Ojeleye out for them, Jaylen Brown out, Tristan Thompson and Romeo Langford out for them. New piece, Evan Fournier in for the Celtics. Projected starters, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Evan Fournier, Jason Tatum, and Robert Williams. Anybody here, Chris, that we like? New addition to Fournier, does that change a lot of stuff here, fantasy-wise, on the Celtics, or not so much?
Yeah, it changes a few things. I mean, we have Jaylen Brown out, so we don't know if Fournier is going to start here in place of him. But it just makes us a little less interested in guys like Smart, guys like Kemba, Tatum as well, probably a tiny bit. But I mean, it's still Jason Tatum. He's still likely going to get his. I like this matchup a lot for Jason Tatum. He's 8.5K on FanDuel, so that's the price tag that really stands out for me. 8.6 on DK as well. So he's one of my favorite guys in this 8.5K range on this slate. Kind of prefer him over Zion here in this price range. So Tatum is my guy here, and then we have Time Lord as well. Robert Williams, of course, 6.5K on FanDuel, 6.7 on DK. So Tristan Thompson is still out. Time Lord is still going to crush here. Probably going to play around 28 to 30 minutes. He's going to get the start. Just an insane steal and block rate for him. So the upside with him is just insane. So I love Robert Williams on this slate. I think I kind of prefer him over someone like Moses Brown.
Fair. We do have Jerome Robinson starting, Chris, for Beal. Do you want to touch on that quickly?
Yes. I mean, we can go over that again once we're done with the slate. We can go over the Wizards just again as a whole because it changes a lot of things.
Okay. Loading up the next game, we have a big slate, so we got to go, Chris. We have Dallas Mavericks against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Dallas side, JJ Redick out, new piece there. Tyrell Terry out as well. Willie Cauley-Stein out, and then Luka Doncic probable, same as Kristaps, also probable. Projected starters: Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Kristaps Porzingis. Any interest here, Chris?
Not really. I had some interest here earlier in the day, but this isn't a great game environment. Mavs are projected to win by 11.5. It's a 221 over-under, so it's not a great situation here. We've had Luka miss the last few games with back injury and illness. So, I mean, I kind of just want to stay away here. We have other studs that we could spend up for, like James Harden. So I'm not too interested in Luka here in cash games, especially. I think he's viable in tournaments. We know the upside that he always has. Same thing for Porzingis. Like, don't want to play him here. I don't feel great playing Kristaps Porzingis, especially on this slate. He's in a similar price range to Jason Tatum, I just talked about, so I'd much rather play Tatum. And yeah, I think if you're playing these Mavs guys, you're probably going to be looking for value. I think Dorian Finney-Smith on FanDuel for 3.8K is kind of interesting. He's been playing a ton of minutes, played 37 last game, 34 the game before that. So, I mean, with those minutes, I mean, he could get there for this price tag. He can get you 30 fantasy points if the variance with the steals and blocks go his way. So he's someone that's interesting for value for sure.
Got it. OKC side, Mike Muscala out, Darius Bazley out, Gwen Dort out, Tony Bradley probable. New piece there. Then we have Moses Brown. Did he just sign a multi-year contract? I think so, right?
Yeah, Moses Brown did.
So he secured the bag. Maybe he's going to be lazy. We've seen that before, haven't we?
Yeah, is Rondo in here? I know Rondo loves that narrative.
Secure the bag, then just Who did we see that with before? I think Whiteside had that, didn't he?
Whiteside, he's just trash. Rondo was saying it about Devin Booker before.
Booker? Yeah. Anyone else that you know, or not off the top of your head?
I mean, Rondo probably knows a bunch of guys. He loves that narrative.
Yeah, I think it's a good narrative. Secured the bag, played a few good games, got the contract, got the role, but the bag is secured already, guys. So we have to watch on that. But he seems like a popular play today. But projected starters, we have Theo Maledon, Ty Jerome, Alexei Pokashevsky, what is this? Isaiah Roby, and Moses Brown. Lots of, I guess not too many new pieces here, but different looking lineup, obviously, with no SGA as well. Who do you like here on the OKC side, Chris?
So I mean, Moses Brown is the main guy here. If we didn't have this slate with the Celtics playing without Robert Williams, he would be the lock. I just kind of prefer Robert Williams a little bit over him. But I mean, this guy's a stud without Horford. He plays a ton of minutes. He's very active. He's like a 7'3" freak. He looks like a WNBA player. Kind of has that Claxton build, that Brittany Griner build. So I mean, he has that going for him. But he's just a beast, point per minute. I love him as a play here, especially without Horford. Clearly, they're tanking now. So, yeah, Moses Brown is the guy for me here that I'm most interested in. Love him in cash games. Love him in tournaments, too. We've just seen a bunch of giant games out of him. So that's why I'm interested.
Point per minute wise, he's up there with Zingis, up there with Boban as well. Not quite Luka level, but it's pretty high, 1.25. So that's pretty crazy. Let's load up the next game, Chris. I think we're halfway point through the slate here, so we got to go. Next game, we have the Grizzlies against the Rockets. Memphis side, Justice Winslow. Questionable tag. Projected starters, John Morant, Grayson Allen, Dillon Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Jonas Valanciunas. Who do you like there?
Yeah, so I mean, don't worry about time. All the good plays today come from the early games. These late games aren't too interesting for me specifically, but yeah, for the Grizzlies here, there's some interest. We have a really nice matchup here against Houston that we do like to target. So I love John Morant here on FanDuel for 7.1K. I think that's just way too cheap for him. He's in my cash game lineup right now. Just love the price tag, love the upside that he has. So
you love John Morant. Like looking at his game log, he's like a 20 burger sometimes, quite often. 16, like look at this, like 20, 24, 16, 29, like 16. Like he's all over the place. He's very inconsistent. What is up with that?
Well, I mean, they're a bad team. Bunch of his low games come in blowouts. They're playing the Houston Rockets, who absolutely suck. So I think that this is a game that we could predict him to have one of his up games. So that's why I like him here.
No, I definitely like him here against the Rockets. I'm just calling John Morant the player out. Why is he struggling so much? Why is he so inconsistent? Like the blowouts are obviously because he's not playing well as well. Like he's supposed to be one of the main guys.
Well, I mean, they don't have a great team. Like his down games are what against Utah, one of the best teams. Had 2 down games against Golden State, so that's not acceptable. But yeah, Miami as well. Phoenix, I always hate to target Phoenix. So I mean, he has up games in good matchups like Washington went for 60, went for 45.
He also has down games against good matchups. Houston again here.
Yeah, if you look at the score in that game, they won by 50.
Fair. Okay. Still, I want more from John Morant, Chris. That's all. I mean, their team's not bad. What do you mean? They have Jonas Valanciunas. He's solid. They got Kyle Anderson. He was solid as well. Like, who's...
Yeah, they also run 12 deep. I always say that. Like, they play a bunch of guys. But, yeah, John Morant is their main guy. So he's going to be the main guy I have interest in, especially on FanDuel for that price tag. And then Joe Val as well. He's interesting, but... problem is he's center, like I keep saying with other centers. We have Moses Brown and Robert Williams, who are kind of the easy plays at center. So Joe Bell in tournaments, I'm fine with that in this matchup, but definitely not in cash games.
Got it. Seeing some news here, Chris. Got Chandler Hutchinson for Washington playing his debut there. Limited minutes, though. Pascal out today. Sekou Dembuya, he's questionable. Kevin Love out. Kobe White, questionable. and then Nance also questionable. So just some updates to give you. So Houston
Chris.
side, we have Dante Exum out for them. Danwell House back in. Christian Wood questionable. Avery Bradley questionable. Projected starters: John Wall, Kevin Porter Jr., Danwell House, Jay Sean Tate, and Christian Wood. I hate watching the Rockets play, Chris, but yeah, probably one of my least favorite teams to watch play. Who do you like here on the Rockets?
Yeah, I don't like too much here. I mean, we've had interest in John Wall, we've had interest in Christian Wood, but I mean, I don't love it here on this giant slate. If it was like a 5 game slate, we would have interest in these guys, but on this slate, we just don't need it. If you want to play John Wall in tournaments, we know the upside he has, so I'm fine with that. But in cash games, there's nothing here that interests me. Christian Wood is questionable, so that's these that we have to watch out for. If he's out, Kelly Olynyk will definitely become in play again. He actually started for Christian Wood last game. He played 25 minutes, got 35 fantasy points, so he's definitely going to become interesting. Problem with him is he's a center on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's 4-4. I think he's going to be a lock there if Christian Wood is out. So we'll have to wait for that news. That's kind of important on DK there. And then I just want to say we also got news on Curry. He's probable now, so that always means that they play.
We
So
had that earlier, or is this like an official probable?
yeah, we had news that he said he was expecting to play, and then now we get news on the injury report that he's probable. So uh, that just means that he's going to play, in my opinion. And then yeah, like you said, this Nance thing with an illness is kind of something to watch out for. We didn't have interest in the Cavs anyways. We have interest in one guy who's like a super, like he sucks. So he would play blowout time. So that news helps him. Pretty sure you probably don't know him. His name is Broderick Thomas. Um, but yeah, the Nance illness questionable makes me think that he's going to be out today.
Got it. I was gonna say, Chris, about what's his face, John Wall. Is he going through like his Carmelo phase? Kind of washed. Kind of wants like a big usage role. Needs to be put in his place. Kind of go like, kind of like Carmelo is pretty solid now. Like he carved himself a good role in the NBA, I think. But I remember before he just wanted like a much bigger role than what he should get to be competitive. Is that John Wall right now?
Well, I mean, you're talking about like 2 years ago, right? When he was on like Houston, the Thunder.
Yeah, when he was like bouncing around, I think he was. I don't know if he was like toxic or anything, but I think he just wanted a bigger role. But I feel like his role now is a lot more suitable for him for success for a team.
Yeah, I mean, he was like 34 at that point. John Wall is still 30, so I mean, I think John Wall can still be a good player. He's on an awful team with an awful coach, in my opinion. So they don't really run an offense, but I think John Wall in the right place could be a good like point guard for a contending team. Um, Maybe not like a super great contender, but like a team that's right outside the bubble.
Like
I
the
think he could
Raptors.
be. Not the Raptors. They have too many point guards. I'm not. There's not many teams that need a point guard. Like I think John Wall on the LA Clippers would be really good. But obviously his contract is just one of the highest in the league, so there's no chance that happens. But I think if he was on a team like that, he could be a good player. Yeah, that's the team that comes to mind first.
Got it. Yeah, Lynn says Curry probable. Got Justin in here. What's up, Justin? Let's go into the next game, Chris. Toronto Raptors, Detroit Pistons. Toronto side, Pat McCaw out, DeAndre Bembry out, Jalen Harris out, Paul Watson out, Kyle Lowry questionable. Projected starters: Kyle Lowry, Fred Van Fleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam. Think what are we thinking of the Raptors today, Chris?
So I mean, both sides they have price tags here that we can really take advantage of, even if Lowry's in. So I think Van Vliet had like a stretch of 2 games where he played pretty poorly. He had 22 and then 30. So FanDuel priced him to 7-4 for some reason. Just way too cheap for him. He's an easy lock there on FanDuel at this price tag. Maybe not a lock just because we have such a giant slate, but he's a great play there. Probably my favorite shooting guard play on the slate on FanDuel for that price tag. So he's the guy I'm interested in on FanDuel. Kyle Lowry also 6.5 on FanDuel, so he got that price decrease. I think that's interesting if he ends up playing, especially in tournaments. I like that a lot on FanDuel. And then on DK, it's Siakam who has the low price, 7.8K. Van Vliet is 7.9 on DK, Lowry 7.4, so I think they're priced fairly. I think Siakam here at 7.8 on DK is a super good price tag. So I like Siakam a lot in DraftKings cash games. I think he's super safe here. Been playing a lot of minutes as well. Played 39 last game, 38 the game before. Actually playing well now. So Siakam's my guy on DK, and then Van Vliet on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's been looking good. I feel like he's going to have a good second half here to the season, kind of secure a playoff spot for the Raptors. I feel like he is definitely the guy who can get them there. He's the guy who's going to have to play a lot better. I feel like he's been quite inconsistent first half of the season, so it's definitely on his shoulders, I think, to get them there. Rondo says, I love what Chris is smoking. They literally signed the best point guard in the game. John Wall to the Clippers would make them much worse. They needed a floor general, which is what they got in Rondo. Sign Boogie, and they will win a chip this year.
I mean, yeah, I wish Rondo was playing today. He's out. I think he missed last game as well with an adductor injury. But yeah, I wish he was playing. I'm excited to see that. How that's going to fit. I think it's going to fit very well, but yeah, I mean, I'm just saying if Rondo retired, Rondo's getting a little old. John Wall could slot in there and be a pretty good point guard for them, I think.
I don't think he's going to like hearing that one, Chris. He says Rondo's resting for the playoffs. Justin says, set your Canadian bias, you both. What was the Canadian bias? Saying the Siakam thing?
I'm not sure.
What's the Canadian bias? It's objectively true. But yeah, Detroit side got Dennis Smith Jr. out for them. Sekou Dembuya, questionable. Tyler Cook signed a 10-day contract over there. Jahlil Okafor out as well. Jeremy Grant probable. Hamidou Diallo is in. Rodney McGruder doubtful. Lots of tags, lots of notes all over the place in Detroit, Chris. Projected starters, Saban Lee, Wayne Ellington, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Mason Plumlee. Is this a stay away spot here for the slate? No interest at all in Detroit, or do we have some interest here?
No, we have interest here. So Dennis Smith Jr. is still out. Saban Lee got the start last game, so he's been very well. He's been playing very well this season when he's gotten the minutes. So we expect him to start here again. I like him a lot on both sites. He's 3.7 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 3.8K. So he's one of my favorite plays on the entire slate for value. He's my favorite Piston for sure. But yeah, it's a pretty good matchup here, honestly, against Toronto. They play pretty fast. They don't play great defense. The over-under doesn't really reflect that, but I do think that this game can definitely hit the over. It's at 214 right now, so definitely like some of the pieces here. Saban Lee is the guy that I like on both sides. And then two more guys that are more specific to FanDuel. I'll start with Jeremy Grant. He's 6.9K on FanDuel. DraftKings, he is 7.5K. So I don't like the price tag on DraftKings, but the price tag on FanDuel looks pretty appealing here. He got hurt last game, so he burned me on DK last time out with the injury in the middle of the game. But I think I saw a report yesterday that they said he's fine. Everything's good. So, yeah, I like Jeremy Grant here a lot on FanDuel for 6.9K. And then last guy here on FanDuel specifically as well is going to be Sadiq Bey. He's 4.8K here. On DraftKings, he's 5.7. So another guy that we can take advantage of on FanDuel. I think he fits as sort of a last piece there. So I like that. His minutes are pretty secure, above 32. He had a big game against Toronto, his best of the season, actually. Got 51 last game against them in 39 minutes. Obviously, I'm not expecting that again, but we do know the upside he has, and I think he's pretty safe here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Justin says it was the Toronto John Wall point guard comments. You said he'd be a good piece on a contending team, or like a team that's outside the bubble. Earlier, you mentioned Horford going to the Raptors, saying that he could kind of push them into the top four in the conference, get them in the conference finals maybe. So that's why I said Wall to Toronto, because he said he could be good on a contending team.
Yeah.
But then you said not to Toronto. So
But I think we both agree that John Wall in Toronto wouldn't be good.
yeah. Lynn says Corey Joe more reliable than Saban Lee. We do have the interesting revenge narrative here for Corey Joseph. I think he was pushed aside for, was it Fred? I think he got Fred Van Fleeted. So I think Fred took his spot on Toronto a few years back, and then obviously Fred's a better player, but he did take his spot, pushed him out of the rotation. So there's that revenge narrative, Chris. Any interest in that one?
Yeah, give me Corey Joe in tournaments as a value play. He played 29 minutes last game, so I mean we have the Dwayne Casey revenge narrative as well. So maybe they're scheming up, cooking something up. Dwayne Casey and Corey Joe together to kind of take down the Raptors here. So give me Corey Joseph as a value play in tournaments. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and on top of that, who's the home team? Is it Toronto here? No,
No,
but I guess they're playing close to Toronto. But yeah, Corey Joe also, he's Captain Canada, Team Canada. I don't know if he's actually the captain there, but he's a Team Canada stud. So there's like a few layers to this, like Toronto, Detroit, Corey Joe, KC, Toronto, Corey Joe, Canada. There's a lot of layers here. So Corey Joe, Fred Van Fleet, duo stack could be good. If we could lock in coaches, Chris, that'd be good. I'd lock in Dwayne Casey today. What would we do? We should be able to lock in coaches and then like bonus points for like successful challenges.
yeah, I mean, Dwayne Casey would be the last guy I would pick. I just hate that guy.
Yeah, I don't think he'd pick. Well, today I would pick him for the narratives, but I think we need a new slate style where you can lock in a coach and then maybe a few points. Like a successful challenge could be one, maybe a coach getting a technical could be minus a point or plus a point, maybe minus 10. Just something like that to mix it up. So you'd have like challenges, technicals. I don't think there's really anything else you could do for a coach. Maybe like a game-winning timeout at the end of the game could be like a plus 20, something like that.
Maybe a successful play out of a timeout.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe I'll send a message to FanDuel. That'd be awesome. But I think we have to go to the next game here. So we got the Sacramento Kings against the San Antonio Spurs. Let me load it up here. Let's see what we got in the chat. It says Rondo says Wall can play 3 for the Raptors. Lowry, Fred, Wall, OG, Siakam. Be pretty good. Trick says Corey Joe is terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we
all
gotta
the narratives.
we gotta throw the terribleness out of the way here with the narrative.
Yeah, there's too many narratives. We touched on them, so the narratives are too appealing. They're too juicy to pass on. So, Lynn said, "I wonder if Diallo will get a start." Any idea, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, Hamidou Diallo. What did he play his first game off the bench? Let's see. Yeah, he only played 18 minutes that game. His usage rate was 12%. So, I mean, I don't know if he's going to have that same role that he had on the Thunder. I imagine they kind of want to ease him back in, like I said last time, with the groin injury. So they rested him on a back-to-back. They only played him 18 minutes. So, I mean, I don't expect too much. We have Rodney McGruder doubtful here as well. So even if he does play, it's probably going to be for Rodney McGruder's minutes. So I'm still fine with these Detroit guys here for sure.
Yeah. Justin hates Corey Joseph as well. He doesn't like our take that we had on Corey Joe. I mean, the revenge narratives, they're not for everyone. Like, some people just like their analytics. Some people like their narratives. I love my narratives. Like, I got the Boucher narrative. I got the Kem Birch narrative. I love my narratives. Trigger says, I understand how talented NBA players are, but I'd make it a game in a one-on-one against Corey Joe.
Who said that?
Trigger.
I want to play Trigger 101. We need to set that up.
Trigger's like a D1 player, though.
Really?
If he's saying that, he's got to be at the very least.
No shot.
Trigger says, "How about a full roster of coach? That'd be good, like something like that." Um,
Can you get the mouse off my face?
oh yeah, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
I'm not sure why I got two mice though. There's one like on the screen and one there. Lynn says Corey Joe may suck, but everyone goes off against the Raptors. Yeah, I mean this honestly, like the narratives are pretty juicy for Corey Joseph. I think his price isn't too bad as well. His projection isn't too bad as well. So it's not like a terrible narrative play. And then Chris added the Dwayne Casey narrative. I totally forgot about that, but yeah, they used to play together in Toronto, so there's that. David Korea says this is a 6 in 9 days for Toronto. Tired legs for Fred VanVleet. Chris, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still fine with it. Like these are professional athletes, so whatever.
Yeah, sure. I mean 6 and 9 is quite a lot though. But I guess these games do matter for Toronto. Every game matters because they have to, like they want to get into the playoffs. I don't think they're trying to tank or anything, so they can't afford to lose at this point in the season anymore. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're. I don't think they're trying to tank.
No, they're definitely not. So I'm saying like they're trying to get into the playoffs. So with their current in the current standings, every single game does matter for them.
Yep.
So even if it is 6 of 9, I still like the plays there. Trigger says you don't want to play him, Chris. You don't want it.
I want it as long as he's not D1. If he's D2, I don't want it. D3, I'll take it.
Why wouldn't you take D2?
Probably past my range there.
What if you like train for like a month to get up there?
I would have to train a lot.
Yeah, give him like a month to train. Let's see. Trigger says he doesn't respect the fundamentals of the game. He says D7, come see me. Trigger's actually he played put a wig on, went to the women's basketball, was a stud. I saw like a funny one recently. There's like a I don't know if I sent it in Discord. I'm not gonna bring it up now. I'll send it to Trigger later though. There's a funny women's college basketball player that I found. But yeah, next game up, Chris. Sacramento Kings, Spurs here. Sacramento side got Jamias Ramsey out for them. Hassan Whiteside questionable, and Devin Vassell Devin is on the Spurs. So just two guys for the Kings. Projected starters: Fox, Haliburton, Hield, Barnes, and Holmes. Anyone there?
So not really. This is kind of the start time that the games kind of get less interesting from a DFS aspect. Like this game is still super interesting with the game environment. It's a 230 over under, tight spread, but I mean I'm just not landing on any of these guys. The Kings are pretty healthy, obviously outside of Bagley, so I don't know. I'm not interested in these guys here today.
Okay. Spurs side, there we have Devin Vassell in, Lonnie Walker out, Keita Bates Diop out, and Gorgie Jang you pick up out. I think I saw like a funny thing on Twitter for Lonnie Walker. I think he responded to like a tweet the Spurs Twitter account sent out. It was like, it sounded like Lonnie Walker like passed away or something. Like it was like rest up or like take care, like Lonnie Walker. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
I'll try to pull it up. It's kind of funny, but I'll look at it while you go over this team. So we got projected starters: DeJounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Who do you like there, Chris?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to find it quickly because I have no interest here in the Spurs. I mean, maybe Keldon Johnson on FanDuel for 5K, but yeah, like this is a good game environment. Like I was saying, it's a good matchup for the Spurs. We love targeting the Kings, but I mean, I personally hate playing DeMar DeRozan. Just feel like he never gets there for me. He's in this 8-4 price range where if we spend 1K less, we can play Fred on FanDuel. And then on DK, we don't need to go there, I don't think. So not too interested here in the Spurs team. It's a good matchup, like I said. So if you land on one guy here, I'm fine with it. But I'm personally not going to do it.
Yeah. Let me load up the next one. Cleveland against Utah. I'll try to find the Lonnie Walker one at some point. Let me load that up though. So yeah, Cleveland side we have Isaiah Hartenstein, probable tag there, traded from Denver. Torian Prince, questionable. Has he been there for a while or is that a trade, Chris? No,
On
he's
the
been there
Cavs?
for a while. My bad.
Yeah.
Jarrett Allen out, Larry Nance questionable, so we have that, I guess, midday downgrade to questionable, Chris, for him. Then we have Dellavedova out and Kevin Love out. Projected starters: Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaiah Coro, Larry Nance Jr., and Isaiah Hartenstein. Anybody over there that you like, Chris?
Not really. Like, this game has the biggest spread on the entire slate. It's currently at 16. So, I mean, we're expecting this one to blow out. So on the Cavs side, I don't expect Nance to play. Jarrett Allen is out. So I think they're kind of conceding. But yeah, I think there's one guy here that's kind of interesting. Maybe two guys. I have interest in Isaiah Hartenstein. He's
Hartenstein.
3-2 on DK, 3-5 on FanDuel. I think that could be a sneaky option in tournaments, especially if he gets the start. If someone like Nance is ruled out, kind of went over it last time. He had those huge games for Houston last season when he got 2 starts. So I'll just go over it again here. He played 26 minutes in 1 start, got 60 fantasy points against the Timberwolves last season, and then 34 minutes, got 40 fantasy points. So he's definitely shown that he can get you fantasy production for sure. So I think he's pretty sneaky in tournaments. And then the other guy here, Broderick Thompson. So that's the guy that you've probably never heard of. He's 3.3K there. He got the start last time for Jarrett Allen. I think he's more of a 2 or 3 guard, so he's not like a big for them. But he played 31 minutes in his start, got 21 fantasy points. So for his price tag here on DK, I think he provides us with pretty good value. So, I mean, I'm more interested in these guys that are kind of at the end of the bench here, just because I think this game will ultimately blow out. So my 2 favorites are going to be Broderick Thompson and Isaiah Hartenstein.
Okay. Utah side, we got Mike Conley in for them. Juwan Morgan out. Projected starters: Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. Anybody on the Jazz side, Chris?
No, I mean, Mitchell has been playing well, but shooting guard it's kind of loaded now, honestly. Like I said, it was kind of thin before, but I think I like shooting guard a lot, especially on FanDuel now with Fred VanVleet there for 7-4. So, I mean, no, I don't want to play Donovan Mitchell here in this spot. I don't really want to play anyone here.
Okay. Let's load up next game, second to last one. Chicago against Golden State. 1 second. Let's see what we got in the chat. It's kind of popping. Let's see. Lynn says, enough with the Trigger Chris segment. I liked it. Justin says, Garry making fun of women NCAA players. Gonna get you #canceled. Garry already trending. Cancel Garry. Yeah, Trigger knows that one. Rip Lonnie. We're getting some cancel Garry, Chris. Are we gonna get canceled?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I hope not, guys. Let's see. D Wade running Broderick in both my DK lineups from VN Jones. David Cruz says Thomas, not Thompson. Dwayne,
Yeah, but
Dean Wade. I mean, that's an interesting name. I like it. Dean Wade. I like that.
D Wade.
Yeah. Dinda says Chris is on the baseline for the scoop.
The scoop?
Did you get the scoop on the baseline?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's quickly go over this game. Chicago Warriors. So we got some news about Curry upgraded to probably playing, so that's pretty cool to see. He's back. I feel like he could have came back sooner, but I mean, it's like someone with Steph Curry, you probably want to take your time, especially if you're the Warriors. I mean, you're not really playing. Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely make the play-in game at least. I think they could probably take a game or two off of someone like the Mavs to make that 8 seed or whoever's in the 8 seed right now. So yeah, I mean when you have one of the greatest point guards of all time, anything's possible for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, Chicago side got Lowry Markkinen, probable. Kobe White, questionable. Tice, new piece there, probable. And then Zach LaVine, also probable. Projected starters, Tom Satoransky, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic, and Lowry Markkinen. I think last game out, did we see both Vuce and LaVine kind of struggle?
Um, I think that game blew out. Actually, I think they lost to the Spurs in a blowout. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is another situation where I kind of want to stay away from it. So that game did blow out. They didn't get their full minutes. Levine got 22 fantasy points. Vooch got 37. So I think Vooch is going to be the guy that kind of takes over the main role there. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good matchup here. I don't love the players. That's the only thing. So I'm not going to play these guys most likely. If you want to play Levine and kind of hope that he is more aggressive this game, you can maybe do that in tournaments only, but no one here in cash games for sure.
Okay. Warriors side got Eric Pascal out for them. Steph Curry probable. So that was the big. I guess is that a big upgrade for the day, or does it not really affect the DFS slate too much?
The Curry thing,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't affect things too much. Like I keep saying on these giant slates, if it was a smaller slate, it probably would. But I mean, there's just, I mean, you can go over the starters and then I'll get into it.
Sure, let's do that. So we have Steph Curry, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman all projected to start. Yeah, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah. So like with Curry here, if he was 100% healthy, this is a spot that I would like a lot. But I mean, we could see them be very cautious with him. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Personally, I don't think they will be. I think they'll just play him as full minutes. So I think he's interesting in tournaments for sure. He's 9K on FanDuel, I think 9.4 on DK. So really good price tag there. But it gets us off of these other guys. Like can't play Wiggins anymore. Don't want to play Oubre. Draymond, it bumps him up, so I like Draymond here in this spot. He's 6'6 on FanDuel, 6'9 on DK. Don't mind that in tournaments as sort of a last piece along with Curry if you're doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's mostly going to be Curry and Green here.
Okay. Before we go into the next game, got some chat here as well. Yeah, Dinda says baseline for the scoop, Chris. Trigger says Chrissair, WNBA insider.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think
That's
you'd
my
be,
job.
you think you'd do a good job as a WNBA insider?
Yeah, I would get all the inside scoops.
How do you get those? Like, you have to like network with everyone. You have to know like all the I don't know. Like, how do you do it?
I mean, I guess so.
You
I don't
wouldn't tell
know.
us,
I don't know
right?
what it takes to become a beat writer.
Yeah. Let's see. Draymond better with Steph in. I think they're both better with both of them in, right? Kind of talked about that before.
Yeah.
Wendy says, which center is a lock on FanDuel, Chris? Stud and value.
I like Robert Williams there.
Stud and value?
Well, they're both in the mid range. Like if you're going for a stud, then I like Cat. Don't really like any value guys here when we have Robert Williams and Moses Brown in that 6.5K range, who I think are just great plays.
Yeah. Let's see. Clemens says Brooke Lopez, good play in tournaments, Chris. I guess we'll get into that now. Let's go over this game. So Milwaukee Clippers, last game of the slate here. Milwaukee side, since we had the question, we have PJ Tucker out for them, Bobby Portis out for them, Kurucs out for them as well. Then we have Giannis Antetokounmpo back in, Dante DiVincenzo in, Jeff Teague just signed there, but I don't think he's playing today. Drew Holiday in and Chris Middleton in. So we had that last game where everyone was out for them. Every player on the Bucks was value. Thanasis was looking better than Giannis. Giannis's last few games. So Thanasis looked like the original Antetokounmpo brother, the real Antetokounmpo brother. So that was crazy. Never would I have thought to see that day. Yeah, what do you think of the Bucks here today, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not too high on the Bucks here. I think they're not viable in cash games, but I like Giannis a lot in tournaments. He's had 2 down games in a row now, so I think he's gonna have suppressed ownership on this slate where we have a ton of other studs. But I mean, we can definitely see him go for like 70, 75 fantasy points here in this spot. So the upside with Giannis is just insane as always, and you can get lower ownership here for him. So he's really going to be the only guy that I do have interest in on the Bucks. Like I don't want to play Middleton, don't want to play Drew with Giannis in, don't want to play Brolo either. I know we got that question, but yeah, it's just going to be Giannis here.
Yep. Okay. Looking at this game, actually, Chris, what's the spread? Who do you think's winning here? We got 2 point spread here.
Yeah, we have a tight spread, pretty high over under. The Clippers are currently favored, but I mean I kind of like the Bucks here.
Our crunch prediction is 38.75% for the Bucks to win. So we have, yeah, it's like 60% for the Clippers to win. Interesting
Yeah,
stuff, no?
yeah. I mean it's definitely interesting, but I don't know. I kind of like the Bucks here. I think you can get some good value on that money line.
Yep. Okay. Do we have the win predictions for UFC, MMA?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Let's see. Vian Jones says bold prediction. # bold prediction. Westy will have a quadruple double tonight. Points, rebounds, assists, turnovers. Turnovers. Lock it in, Chris. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no Beal, so I don't know. I don't know. Westbrook's been playing very well recently, so don't want to slander him too much at this point.
Yeah, he has been playing really well, so definitely. And I think you've been saying they've been playing better too since he started playing well too. The Wizards. So it's not just like uh, empty stats; like it's translating to wins. So.
Yeah.
Trigger says, girls love gossip. Just get me into a WNBA party and I'd walk away with at least 30 future transactions. That's how you do it, Chris. You got to network them.
That's how Trigger does it.
Yeah. Lynn's saying Kawhi's going to shut Giannis down.
Yeah, I mean, that's also why people aren't going to play Giannis. So, I mean, he's kind of matchup proof, I would say, unless they kind of jam the paint. But I mean, that's the way to stop Giannis. I don't think Giannis is stopped by one player; he's stopped by a scheme. But I mean, I'm not playing him in cash games for sure. I just think it's interesting in tournaments.
Yeah, it is an interesting play for sure. 15% ownership for Giannis. Because if you get like a high salary guy who exceeds the projection, it's huge. That's pretty huge, right? Just the raw points.
Well, I mean, if the way that he would be good, if the way that he would be good is if he's the top scorer on the entire slate. So if like he passes all these other studs like Harden, I don't know who else is on here. Mostly Harden. Like I think if he beats Harden, that'll be pretty valuable here because Harden's going to be chalky.
Yeah. Okay, let's do the last half here for the slate. So the Clippers, Rondo out, Ibaka out, Pat Bev out. Projected starters: Reginald Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Ivica Zubac. Anybody on the Clippers, Chris?
Yeah, the Clippers. I like the Clippers a lot here, actually. Specifically on DK, where they're priced a little better. We have some interest in these value guys here. So Rondo's obviously still out. Lou Will, he's traded now. So Reggie Jackson 4.4 is super interesting to me. Marcus Morris at 4.5. I like that a lot on DK as well. That's mostly it. Like Paul George 8.5 on DK, 8.7 on FanDuel. A little bit interesting, but I mean, for the most part, I like the value guys here in Marcus Morris and Reggie Jackson on DK.
Yep. David Cruz says Clippers played Bucks 1 month ago. ABC put up 70 in a game that went 213.
Let's see that. Yeah, he played 40 minutes. So, I mean, in these big games, he sometimes plays more minutes than he usually does in these big matchups, like against Utah, obviously first seed in the West.
No?
Well, I mean, not really. Like I think they just play him more in these big spots. So against Utah, top team in the West, 39 minutes. Clippers last game, 40 minutes. So yeah, I like him in these spots where like it's a big game that he gets up for. That's what I like.
Trigger says Ty Lue is a mastermind. He'll come up with a scheme to stop him.
Yeah, I mean, you just jam the paint, but
He's joking.
I don't know. Yeah, I know he's joking about Ty Lue being a mastermind, but I mean, there's some truth to that. Like you can just scheme against him, and he's not as effective, but
Yeah, I'm with you.
still, I still like him here.
I've
I don't
seen
think
it with in the playoffs, Raptors on the Bucks, like year after year, whenever they play.
Yeah, we've seen it against some other teams as well. Like against the Lakers this year, I think Giannis went for like 37, which was awful for his price tag. So if teams scheme against him, I think they were scheming pretty hard against him that game. So when they actually focus on that, I think he struggles.
Yeah, and then speaking of studs, Chris, you mentioned Harden, but we have a few actually. We have Westbrook, Harden, Doncic, and Towns. I'd say maybe Kawhi as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I forgot to mention Westbrook. Like no Beal now. Westbrook is the stud that we want on both sites. So it's not Harden anymore. It slipped my mind that we got Beal out. So yeah, if Giannis beats Westbrook here, he's gonna he's gonna be in the optimal team most likely.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. Layden says no love for Boucher tonight. 4.9 price tag on FanDuel. I think we had interest because Kyle Lowry was out the other day.
Yeah. So I mean, Kyle Lowry is out. Like you wouldn't think that it's a direct, like he's a direct guy that benefits from that, but he still gets a few more minutes. What did he play yesterday? Like
24 almost.
Yeah, so I mean he could get 24 even with Lowry in. Like that's definitely possible. Detroit against Detroit. I mean yesterday we didn't mention it, but they were playing Portland. Obviously Boucher went to college in Oregon, so I mean we had that narrative going for him as well. But yeah, on this slate, I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it here against Detroit, honestly.
If you look at it though, like he's done well against Detroit last two times. I'm not sure what the situation was, but when they played start of March, I went for 25 minutes played. Then midway through March 17th, he played 30 minutes, went for 44. So
yeah, so he started that game on the 17th, and then I mean like I don't put too much weight into that because he's had these stretches where he's played more minutes and then stretches where he's played less minutes. So I don't think it has to do with the matchup per se. I just think it was more so to do with the stretch that he was playing more minutes. Now he's kind of in a stretch where he's not playing as many minutes. But I mean, he played 23 last game, so maybe he's entering a stretch where he's going to play more minutes now. So if you want to buy into that, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, he's kind of streaky. You never know what Nick Nurse will do, what the doctor's going to prescribe. Let's see what else we have. Vian Jones says, as a Wizards fan, I think Jerome Robinson sucks, which means jam him into your lineups because he'll go for 10x DK points tonight. I think I also remember Rondo saying in the chat that he's the next Booker on Jerome Robinson.
He's a good player. I like him a lot. He's 3K here on DK, so he's an easy lock there.
Yeah. Dave Chris says, real ABC wants to show the fake ABC. Who's the real ABC, Chris?
That's too much ABC for me.
Yeah. Got some updates, though. So we got Dragic playing, Chris. Doug McDermott out today. Lonzo Ball doubtful now. And then Jackson Hayes probable.
Okay. Yeah, so most of that doesn't matter. We have interest in Justin Holiday today, so that helps him a lot with Doug McDermott out. But most of the other stuff doesn't matter. Like Nickeil Alexander-Walker is priced up now. Lonzo's been out for a while, so yeah.
Got it. Let's go over our 3 plays, Chris. First up, value play here. Sorry, not value play. Favorite play. Overall favorite play, safest play, cash, tournaments, all that stuff, every format. Who do you have on FanDuel?
So before the Beal news, I would have said Harden, but I mean it's easily Westbrook now.
So why do we have Brogdon in here? Is he just going to be in all the lineups? Like, why was he the cover boy?
We didn't have this news before, but I like Brogdon a lot in tournaments as well. I mean, still not as well, but yeah, definitely now with this Westbrook value at point guard, we're nowhere near as high as on Brogdon as we were before.
Okay. Next up, value play. Who do you have?
Value play here. Let's go with one of the. I'll stick in that 3.8K range. I'll go with Justin Holiday here with Doug McDermott ruled out.
Okay. And then tournament play of the day on FanDuel. Who do you have?
Tournament play. So I think we were talking about a few guys. We had Cat early in the show. We had Corey Joseph as like a value piece. But I'll go with Cat here. I like Cat as a tournament play because everyone's going to play Robert Williams. I have Robert Williams in my core here. So, yeah, I'll say Cat.
Okay. They have a question from Ghosty. He says best 3K forward on DK and then also best forward 4.8 on DK.
Denny for sure. And then 4.8K or 3K. I mean, I don't know if there's one that at minimum price, but 3.4K, I like Denny of Dia a lot. And then 4.8K, I don't know, it's a tough range at forward. Who do we have there? Let me see.
Jerome Robinson.
Is he a forward? Yeah, he's forward eligible. Yeah, so I guess Jerome Robinson, he's a lock there. 4.8K range, maybe like Marcus Morris. I like that.
Okay. Let's go over the 3 plays here. So favorite play overall on DK. Who's your guy?
Favorite play overall on DK. Let's go with Russell Westbrook here as well.
Okay. And then value play. Who do you have?
This one's much easier than FanDuel. Jerome Robinson for 3K.
Okay. And then tournament play. Who's your guy?
I'll stay with the same thing. Give me Karl Anthony Towns here.
Okay. Let's go over the cores. Go over some lineups. Let's see. Is C. Davis still in here? Because he wanted to go over the back testing, but if he's not here, I guess we can do it a different day. So if you're here, let me know. We'll go over the back testing. So yeah, you got 4 guys, Chris, Westy, Rui, Justin Holiday, and Time Lord. Maybe touch on those quickly while I build these lineups here.
Yeah, so for the 2 Wizards, no Beal. Just makes them too cheap here. Westbrook has just been crushing all season. Maybe not all season, but definitely recently. And then with no Beal, it just makes him an easy play. Same thing for Rui. Always a little too expensive. I mean, too cheap on FanDuel. Playing a ton of minutes, so I like that a lot. Justin Holiday playing the Wizards, really good matchup. He's kind of my favorite value guy here on FanDuel. And then Robert Williams, just a great play without Tristan Thompson and without Daniel Tice.
Okay, so we got John the first one, no John the second one. Got Grant in the second one. What do you want to look at?
We could look at the first 2 here.
Okay. So we got your cover boy actually on only one of them.
Yeah. So I'll just go over the entire thing here. Russell Westbrook, and then Marcus Smart's in both. I like Marcus Smart. 5.5K here, no Jaylen Brown. Obviously, Fournier is expected to play, but still a little too cheap here in my opinion for Marcus Smart, so I like that. And then these 2 small forwards, I locked them in. Center, Robert Williams, locked him in. Then we have a 4v4 here, Ja, Van Vliet, Tatum, Roby versus Brogdon, Halliburton, Sabonis, Grant. This one's pretty easy for me. It's not a big decision. I like the first side a lot more. We get Ja here against Houston, who I like a lot, 7.1K. Probably like $900 too cheap here for this matchup, in my opinion. Fred VanVleet, just way too cheap, 7.4. I can't fade that personally. And then we get power forward with Tatum, 8.5, no Jaylen Brown. Love that price tag. And then Roby, obviously with Horford shut down now. I like Roby here for 4.7.
Okay, let's go into DK. Same thing here. So you got 4 guys here. Jerome Robinson, Denny Avdia, Harden, I think are the only differences here. So fading a few of the cores from the other side. Is it just more pricing here, Chris?
It's just pricing. So with the Wizards here, no Beal, so I can fit more of these guys in on DraftKings where the pricing is lower on like Jerome Robinson, who's only 3K. That's more valuable than him being 3.5 on FanDuel. And then Denny here, 3.4. Also just opens everything else up. And then we can, by playing these two value guys, we can jam in another stud like James Harden, who I still have a ton of interest in. So yeah, that's why I like this construction with my core.
Okay. Which ones do you want to go over? First two?
Yeah, first two. Yeah, so same thing. Russell Westbrook, 11K, have him as a lock. Jerome Robinson, have him as a lock. Denny Avdia, have him as a lock. And then Harden, have him as a lock. And then we have Siakam in both. 7-8 here. I was kind of mentioning that Fred VanVleet is way too cheap on FanDuel. Siakam's the opposite. He's too cheap on DK. So we have him here. And then Saban Lee, 3-8. Really good price tag on him here.
Chris,
Expected to start.
We have Christian Wood out. Does that matter for Olynyk?
Yeah, I mean, we could just quickly bump up Kelly O here on DraftKings because he's not going to be in play on FanDuel most likely. But let's see what we got if we bump him up on DraftKings.
So what, 21, 2, 3, 5?
One sec. Let me see. No, not 25. Let's put him at... Where's this guy? Kelly Olynyk. One sec, sorry. 6. When did he play last? Houston. What did he get last game?
Let me open that up. I think you mentioned it. Wasn't it like 30 something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's not opening right now. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got 35.
35.
25 minutes.
He actually got into foul trouble that game as well. So we can put him at like... Put him at 30. I think that's a pretty safe projection for him.
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
We expect him to start here. So yeah, let's put him at 30, see what we get.
Let's just, what would you put him on FanDuel? We can just quickly build and see if it pops up anywhere.
We can put him at 30 as well here.
Yeah. And then for anyone watching, just so you know, it takes like a minute or two or a few minutes sometimes for our projections to update, take into account any of the news that comes out. So you don't have to do this yourself. They will update momentarily.
Yeah, so get rid of Robert Williams as a lock here on FanDuel and then build it. And then DK, let's see. Yeah, you can keep all these guys. They're still good. So yeah, we're getting Kelly Olynyk in the first. We're getting a bunch of Kelly Olynyk now. So I think he's actually going to enter my core here on DK. I'm going to add that in. Let's see.
Still Time Lord.
On FanDuel, yeah, because he's... What's Olynyk? 5'4" on FanDuel, 5'2". So I think I said it earlier as well. This price tag is much better on DraftKings.
He's 5'2". We even get Wiseman ahead of him, actually.
Well, yeah, Wiseman is cheaper, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can still take a look at these first two.
We have a switch, Chris. The number one optimal is different than before.
Yeah, we're getting Bledsoe now with the Lonzo Ball news. So we could take a look at that. I definitely don't mind Bledsoe. Really good game environment there for them. What's his price tag?
Bledsoe is 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. That's pretty low. Like ever since Lonzo has gone out, Bledsoe's minutes have consistently been over 30. Played 36 last game, so I definitely don't mind Eric Bledsoe here in this spot.
Yeah, so we have, what do you want to do? We just have our old one is number 2 now. One of them bumped down to number 7.
Yeah, so let's look at these first two here. Yeah, so this is FanDuel again. So now we can actually, with this Bledsoe thing, we can kind of jam in both studs there, which is pretty nice. I like doing that. No more Fred VanVleet in the first team, so like you said, the second team is the old first team. So we have a 3v3 now. Bledsoe, Harden, Jaden McDaniels versus Ja, VanVleet, and Roby. Let me just look at Jaden McDaniels a little bit. Just want to see one thing. Minnesota. Yeah, so good matchup for Jaden McDaniels. Has he been starting? Yeah, he's been starting recently, last 3 games. Played 36 minutes last game, so that's very high. 36 minutes. If he plays 36 minutes at 3.7K against the Nets, I like that a lot. So yeah, that's that's a piece that I kind of missed when I went over the Nets. I mean the Timberwolves. But yeah, I like the first side here just because it's more stars and scrubs. But we get Harden, who I liked a lot earlier in the day. We get Jaden McDaniels, who I kind of missed on, and then Bledsoe here, who should play 30 plus minutes with no Lonzo. So yeah, give me the first side here.
Yeah, and for Roby, I feel like this price is pretty fair. Like I don't think he's not going to give any crazy ceiling games either. So kind of like
Yeah, yeah. So Moses Brown kind of took over the. I think earlier in the season we had Roby play center when Horford was out, but Moses Brown kind of took over that role. Roby has been starting recently, but he's been playing the four. So he hasn't been putting up huge games. Been pretty inconsistent. Like ever since he first began starting, put up 30 fantasy points, then 17, then 32, then 16, then 30, then 15. So if you follow that pattern, he's supposed to have an up game here today. But yeah, I definitely don't mind fading him.
Yep. So we have Randall questionable now, Chris, as well.
Yeah, so he was questionable before as well.
Yep. And then DK, what do you want to go over?
DK, let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at these first two.
Got it. So we still have these bumped down quite a bit, though. You can actually see some
Those
news.
are before Kelly O.
Yeah.
And that's not his official projection, but I think that's pretty safe for him. So what do we have here? We have Russ in both, Jerome Robinson still, Denny still, their core obviously. Kelly Olynyk in both, 4.4K here. I added him to my core as well, so I like that. And we have Harden, like having both studs. And then
3v3?
Yeah, 3v3, Bledsoe, Tatum, Saban Lee versus Rui Hachimura, Moses Brown, and Marcus Morris. Yeah, this one's actually pretty close. So let's see. Yeah, I honestly like the second side a little more. I don't feel great with Bledsoe for 4.8. On FanDuel, his price tag is much better. I'm fine with it for sure. If you land there as the last piece, I just don't feel as good as I do on FanDuel. I like Rui a lot without Brad Beal. I love Moses Brown. Was talking about him a lot today on this slate. Marcus Morris, same sort of thing. No Lou Will, so he gets a little more usage, even though he's been starting recently, but still helps him a little bit. And then first side, we get Saban Lee, who I like a lot. Tatum, who I also like a lot. But yeah, this one's very close. I'll slightly lean the second side right now, but if you lean the first side, I have no problems with that.
Okay. That was a big slate. Let's see. Let's go over the chat quickly. Roll King says, can always count on Westy, especially with Beal out. You love Westy recently, Chris. Layden mentioned the Olynyk thing as we brought it up. David Chris says, why Time Lord over Moses? Blowout risk or what?
On FanDuel?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, I mean, just the pricing. I think Time Lord is $200 less. Let me see. No, they're actually the same price. Oh, it's because on FanDuel, you get 3 points for blocks and steals. Robert Williams is just insane with blocks and steals. And then on DraftKings, you get the bonus for double doubles, which Moses Brown pretty much gets every game. Robert Williams doesn't. So it's kind of a difference in scoring.
Yeah.
I think we project Moses Brown higher on DraftKings.
Let's take a look at that. Let's see.
Yeah, so pretty much a 1 point difference on both sides. It's just the way scoring works, with blocks and steals favoring Williams on FanDuel, and then double bonus favoring Moses Brown on DraftKings.
Yep. Hasty's in here, says likes please. What's up, Hasty? Good to see you in here. Brandon says, what are you guys still doing live? It was a long one, no, Chris?
Yeah, we're done now, so but yeah, it was definitely a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one though. Okay, anything else, Chris, to wrap it up here out of you?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, just some quick housekeeping then, guys. For those new here, if you don't know already, we do have a free trial for our optimizer that we've been using throughout the show, dfscrunch.com. So if you want to build your lineups by yourself, if you want to do some tournament stuff, or just have access to our tool, create your own cash lineups, pick your own lineups, get the latest projections throughout the slate, because the projections do update as news comes out throughout the day. So if you want access to all that, there's a free trial. Go to our site, dfscrunch.com. It's in the description as well of this video. And then you can sign up and get 3 days for free. You won't be charged until after the 3rd day, so 72 hours from when you sign up. More than welcome to cancel it, but I do recommend you to try it out for free. It's lots of value. You'll get every main sport that we have, every slate for those sports. You'll get our Discord community as well. You get lots of stuff, so there's a lot of stuff to keep you busy. FanDuel, DraftKings, lots of sports, and lots of slates. Like today for NBA, we have, like eight different slates here on FanDuel. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. So I do encourage you to try that out. World King wants to go over the after hours. Let's quickly build it and go over it for him as well.
Let's see what we have for after hours. So yeah, we have these 2 games that are pretty much set. So it's not like the last few times he's asked where we're waiting on a ton of news in these games. But yeah, the first team here is miles ahead of the second team. We're actually waiting for the Kobe White news. He's questionable now, but it's just a 1v1 there between 1 and 2 with those 2 guys. But I like this first team a lot.
Yep. Yeah. What else do we have? Randall is in, so that's good to know because he was questionable. Brandon says, "Are you guys cool playing Harden still in a 14-point spread with Kyrie back?"
It's not a 14-point spread. It's 10.5 right now. That's quite a big difference there. Yeah, 10.5-point spread in the highest over/under, where they have the highest implied team total. I love Harden here.
Okay. I think that's it, guys. So before you go, be sure to hit the thumbs up on this video. Click it, smash it. Helps people find our channel, helps it grow. So we do appreciate that a lot. And then if you're not subscribed here, make sure to do that as well. Hit the bell button while you're at it and the all button. That way you can stay notified when we go live. It'll be at the front of your YouTube whenever you're on YouTube. But it's pretty straightforward. We're online every day. There's an NBA slate, weekends, holidays, all that stuff. 2.5 hours before main slate. Same format as always. So if you enjoyed that, be sure to come back. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. Hasty says best tool in the game. But yeah.
You're not sure about what?
Ghosty's comment, likes went down somehow. Or actually, I never saw them up at 28 when he said they were there. I think it was always like 15 for me, 16. But anyway, yeah, do all those things, guys. We'll be in the Discord as we always are. So if you have any questions, be sure to come on in to the Discord. Make sure you join the Discord as well if you're a member. If you need help, you can reach out on Twitter, send us a message there, or just join the Discord, and then you can DM me over there, or Chris, or yeah, I guess just me or Chris, or Aiden actually. Probably message Aiden too. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for all the comments. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and we'll see you all then.